20, let me recall now. We have 23 that are on door jams or doors. We then have 4 on a magazine. That brings it up to what, 27. 1 on a drinking glass. 1 on the dresser in the master bedroom. And 1 on the kitchen countertop. And that ain't too many. And you figure some of these may even belong to people that lived there before. Depends how long, where they were found, and how long we could retain them. You know? You know, once you start on this thing, and I've been at it, what now, a year?
Yeah.
And, of course, you never had the right feel for it because you weren't in the house when the stuff was actually there. But with the photographs and everything, and poring over them, and talking to people that were there, and interviews, and reading all the files, when I first started, Fred, I had a totally open mind. I said, God damn it, there could have been intruders in there. But right now, I'll be quite frank, I can't find intruders in that house, and in fact, I've just proved that intruders were there. We can never say they weren't. See, you can never positively say they weren't. But I can show 50 negative reasons why they weren't there. A hell of a lot of things. Things you've already mentioned. The fact that nothing was eaten. The fact that no booze was drunk. The fact that the hypodermic syringes, that these are hotbeds.
Drugs that were there.
And the drugs. None of that was taken.
I got down here, but you know that.
Records weren't taken. Tapes weren't taken. Cameras weren't taken. Guns weren't taken. Knives, hunting knives weren't taken. On and on and on and on.
What about that conflicting testimony, though, about the drawers being open or not open and stuff hanging out of the drawers?
We have the original photographs, and the original photographs on that dresser.
Oh, shit, Pete, that was taken an hour later or something. You know.
Well,
I mean, it's like the photograph of the hall with the garment lying at the end of the hall. You know.
Well, we know who moved that. We know.
Well, the guys had to walk over it to get out with the stretchers.
And we know who moved it too. So. But which dresser drawer was open? The one on the chest of drawers, or is it the dresser? Do you recall?
Hey, Pete, how often is it that you get a telephone instrument with unreadable prints? Is this quite...
How do you what now?
How often is it that you get a phone instrument with unreadable prints? You know, that those, such as was on both of those phones.
Frequently. The worst place to get fingerprints are off a telephone, a doorknob.
Yeah, because the hand is in motion.
Right.
You're more liable to get
frequently
palm
part of the palm. You get good partials maybe on the top.
Yeah.
And plus, they have more oils than normal. You know.
Yeah.
So they get smeared. On the receiver, you're likely to get more legible prints than you would on the hearing piece itself.
Well, I tell you, you know, when this thing gets to the point where it can't go any further, you know, and you're sure of your grounds, but you're not going to go anywhere because there's nothing you can do about it, you know. At that point, things are going to get kind of raunchy as far as you guys are concerned, because you get to the point of saying, "No, what the hell can we do now? Nothing," you know.
Well, between you and the lamppost, we'll turn it over to the Justice Department.
Yeah.
And tell them, here's our case. What do you think?
Yeah.
And then it's their ball.
Yeah.
Because right now they have the prosecutive jurisdiction.
Yeah, I know that.
We can never bring it back. We can investigate it now in the state.
Yeah.
But when we've run out of all our leads, by the way, that Siler City 6 thing fell through.
The what?
The Siler City 6.
Oh, yeah.
That fell through. We've interviewed all but one, and we've just located a Marine from Long Beach, North Carolina.
You got that girl's fingerprints out of the nut house, didn't you?
Perry. Yeah, she got home. She was home. There was 2 Perrys. And she's down in Florida now.
Yeah.
We got hers. Let's see, what else? That was the biggest thing we got, was that. We're doing a lot more lab work.
Yeah.
And, Fred, did Colette ever mention a bedwetting problem with Chrissy? Or with Kimmy, rather?
I think she was small, normal type problem, as far as I know.
I found a note where she was doodling, huh?
Yeah.
Dear Abby type stuff.
Right.
And she's got bedwetting written
Yeah.
in pencil right next to it. And it's, Dear Abby, and the other one. What's the other column? Oh, Ann Landers.
Yeah.
She had both of them written down.
Yeah.
And,
well, I quizzed Mildred on that thing because you were mentioning about, one that I had said, well, now, who knows who wet what bed, And Mildred is positive that Kimmy did not wet the bed at her at that stage. And because, Mildred spent quite a bit of time over there in Jersey and one thing or another, and Mildred would have known about it. That's not something anybody would hide from anybody. Let's say, that Colette wouldn't tell her, she might not tell me because she'd think, well, what can he do about it,
Well, no, I think it'd be something she would discuss with
Mildred. If you would, yes.
Yeah.
And Mildred's positive that Kimmy did not wet the bed. She's absolutely positive of that because I quizzed her on that. So I don't think there's any chance there. I still get back to the thing that bedwetting thing, I think is just so far out. Unless, of course...
It was one of a series of things.
Unless, of course, you're talking about a paranoid schizophrenic, where it would take, probably the doctor could tell you, that what it would take to set somebody off.
Well, we just had a woman up in Fairfield, Virginia, Fairfax, day before yesterday, 2 days ago. Murdered her 3 children while her husband was at work. No motive. They can't find the damn motive. They do have one child that had a hair lip that may have contributed, but they just can't find out. The husband says there's no reason, She stabbed all 3 of them, killed them, and tried to kill herself. She didn't succeed. I don't know. If I sat down with you, I could give you 10 things that could have caused a serious verbal altercation that could have got out of hand. I maintain that if he did it, I maintain that, number one, motive is only nice when you're an investigator and and you don't know who did it.
Yeah.
Motive will help you identify him.
Right.
But if Smith kills Williams, and you can prove that Smith kills Williams, the only thing motive is going to do is help a lawyer in the conviction.
Yeah.
You can still prove that Smith killed Williams, and you don't need the motive.
Right.
But, of course, with lawyers, it's a necessity. If we maintain that Jeff did it, then we're going to have to tell him why.
Yeah.
And if we maintain that hippies did it, so you don't need a motive. Then.
Well,
you got a band of itinerants, and you're home free. And you don't have a bunch of hippies. And those aren't their weapons. And he said they don't carry paring knives. And if they're going to do a job, they'll string her up, disembowel them, and behead them or mutilate them. Anyway, he says, no, I don't buy it. Now he says, all right, let's get back and say, then an altercation took place, and it got out of hand. Now, either Colette's ruined cosmetically or Kimberley, anyway, they're seriously injured. And it gets out of hand. Now he says, number one, I don't like the number of wounds in the victims. If you're going to say a doctor did it. He said, not that doctors are any better murderers than anybody else in the face of the earth. But he says, I can't place a physician leaving this many wounds unless, he says, unless it's like you say that he was trying to cover the murder. Then he says, I'll buy it.
That's right. That's the only way it's possible.
He says, that's
because how can you account for, let's say,
now he says, take a sane man, a doctor, well-educated, good family man. He says it happens every day. You don't get it in triple murder, he said, because you don't have that series of events every day. But you have murders by sane people every day, that, in particular family members, friends, and acquaintances, because through an argument, an innocuous statement or something, and boom, a blow is struck, and it can't be recalled, and it's all over with.
Yeah, but what about the children, though?
Well, number one, he says the first blow to Kimberley could have been reflex.
Yeah.
But in any event, once the decision was made to terminate the life of Colette in any event, now he said that was most probably, he said you don't have a premeditated murder in Colette. This was just pure and simple an act of passion. If the doctor did it, he said, an act of passion, boom, 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 there. Now, he said you can argue premeditated murder once he starts using that knife, because those wounds wouldn't have killed him.
That's right.
He says, you can take the same thing on Kimmy, that her first blow was a reflex action. But he said, from then on, you got premeditated murder. You got it in Christian, and she was killed because she is a witness, pure and simple. And Kimmy was killed because she was a witness.
Well, if you talk about Christy being a witness, you're running under rough territory because to all outward appearances, she never left that bed.
That's right. But Colette was in there and bleeding.
Yeah.
Now, he says this. What will this do? It'll do this. Chrissy can go on the stand, and they can say, was Daddy in there when Mom was bleeding? Yes. Was Mama crying? Yes. Where was the blood? On Mama's head. Did Daddy hit her? He said, can Chrissy talk? I said, yes, she could at that time. He said, then she's a good witness. That's all she's got to do is be able to talk. And she obviously, he says, she knows her mother and father. That's all you need. If he did it, he had to come in that room and remove Colette. So he said, Chrissy, since from the blood evidence, you know that she wasn't bleeding, then. And he said, if she was awake, she was a witness. And he said he presumes that she was awake.
Of course, there's one statement that Jeff made, I can't swear it's not true, and it was this thing about never having an ice pick.
The what?
Never having owned an ice pick. Not having owned an ice pick.
Yeah.
That one's way out in left field somewhere. Because
I don't know. This ice pick is the type that is issued out here at the post through the regular supply, you know.
Right.
And
of course, then you start talking about all these weapons. Then you're talking then. What you're saying is that the club was the original murder weapon, and that the other stuff was used to cover up.
Correct. That's absolutely correct.
It's the only way you can get at it. But then
now we can put one of those knives in that kitchen, whether he believes it or not.
Yeah.
We can put that bent one in there.
Yeah, well,
I mean, if push comes to shove, regardless of
well, you're talking about the cowgirl statement.
That's right. She didn't testify at the 32.
But goddamn it, I'm going to tell you something, Pete. If I'm sitting on a jury, I know that almost maybe 50% of the homes have got a paring knife with a bent tip on it that somebody used either as a screwdriver or, that type of thing. I don't know, but if you get back to that and you don't prove that Jeff got hit with that brush over the head, I'm going to tell you something. You'd have one hell of a time of hitting yourself over the head with a 32-inch stick. Wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You'd be hard put to do it.
Well, you could do it. You could just whack yourself with it.
Yeah, I suppose so. You could hold it 3/4 of the way up, I suppose, or something like that. I'd have a hard time, though. But,
I'm inclined now to think an argument took place, perhaps in the living room, and moved out into the master bedroom. Because we've got somebody that can also tell us that they heard an angry voice. But in any event, a blow is struck for some reason or other. Maybe there was even a push. Maybe Kimmy got slapped. There's no marks on her to this extent. But in any event, a blow was struck, and then another one, and then it got out of hand. Now, we've got one weapon in the master bedroom, right, on the floor. Why is that in there? Why weren't all of the weapons taken out? All right, he says he pulled it out of her chest and threw it aside. Well, why did he throw it over that far? Number two, I think the damn knife was in there and may have been used by him or Colette. Maybe she even cut him. But in any event, I think it was on that damn floor, and when he laid down, when the military police were coming, that's when he first saw it. When those lights went on. He is facing that way, and he sees that damn knife.
Well, of course, if you're talking about assailants, why would they all of a sudden decide to drop their weapons all in the same place outside? I mean, that's a little bit,
Well, just leave them in the house.
Yeah, that's right. Drop them where you are, or take them with you, one of the two. Or throw them in the backyard, which
More logical.
Why in the same place? Why were the ice pick and the knife found almost side by side?
And the stick was only about a foot from there.
A foot away, yeah. Right. Pete, do me a favor. Will you just, I don't care how high up it is or whether it's a general or what it is, but explain to them very carefully, will you, the way I think, Pete, and that I'm not as ornery as it seems if people are, if I think people are, cooperating only to the extent that I'm involved in this way so that I know that something is being done, type of thing.
Yeah.
But also from the same point of view, Pete, so that if I ever get positive, like I said before, that a long time ago, that I'm getting the runaround somewhere along the line. There's nothing that no extremes that I won't go to, and I'd raise the biggest stink that ever was raised in the United States. But there's no reason for it. It's a silly thing, because after all, my interest is only one interest,
right.
And therefore I'm not going to go start running to any newspapers or what have you or wherefore to defeat my own purpose.
I've tried to,
I've tried
to point this out.
Yeah.
What made them leery,
yeah.
and perhaps overly so, was the release of the statement. Now,
the release of what statement?
Of Dr. MacDonald's statement. Now, this thing, they said, may go into litigation.
What statement? Oh, yeah, I know what you mean now, yeah.
They say it was not a part of the Article 32.
Well, they used part of it in there.
Yeah.
And Jeff released almost the whole thing to the newspapers when he gave that interview to Newsday, and they wrote 5 pages.
Their point is, he can release and make whatever statements he wants.
They can, yeah.
But they couldn't prejudice a case against him or anybody else by releasing it.
Right.
And frankly, I couldn't see if it was just going to you. I didn't think, but they say, all right, so just going to
I know.
What happens if somebody else gets in that house and gets a hold of it?
No, I can see that.
Or they
Pete,
just couldn't take the chance.
Pete,
the whole Shepard reversal was based on that pure and simple fact that statements were given out by the prosecutor and by investigators, which shouldn't.
Pete, I'm not unreasonable. I understand. I can see their point of view as clear as day on that subject.
Well,
and I don't blame them in a way. They're protecting the off chance, which is, I mean, hell, who knows? I could, as far as the way they look at it, I could get mad at them tomorrow and release the whole goddamn thing.
That's right. Yeah.
Which is reasonable for them thinking that way. That part of it doesn't bother me. It's the part that somebody has decided that maybe there's been too much communication, and let's draw our horns in here before this thing gets out of hand. And
well, we're not drawing in our lines, and our
you know.
communication is going to be more open now because of other personal reasons and everything else. And that's what Colonel Pruitt says. Now, I'm not going to tell my bosses that.
No, let him tell
you and I, they can go to hell.
Let him tell them. That's why I wrote him the letter.
Yeah. And you will get answers on things that we know are in the 32 and maybe just not fully explained.
Right.
And types of evidence or other things of evidence that we can't release, of course we won't tell you. But if we got something that identifies somebody as the murderer, we're going to tell you.
Right.
And you'll be the first one to know.
I still can't see how you could pick a child up and not get urine on your pajamas.
Well, unless he walked her. I used to walk my kids because
He said he
for that
picked her up
reason,
and
to
carried
avoid
her.
getting the urine all over. Yeah, but he said he carried her.
He said he carried her and her ball.
And I don't like him not changing her either. I'm not a doctor, and I'm not the best father in the world, but I am not putting a kid in wet pants back into a dry bed.
Especially, Pete, if you were awake. And by awake, I mean you hadn't just come out of a sleep and you're so sleepy and you figure, oh, the hell I'll do it tomorrow. But if you're wide awake and you haven't gone to bed yet, I think you would normally do that.
No, I asked him this.
Just like you would normally put the lights on if you were going in to examine a child, but then would you put them out when you came out, and then would you put them back on when you went in the second time and out again as you went out? I mean, this light business is like yo-yos.
Yeah, I know it. And I asked him, of course he can't remember what lights he put on and what he didn't. And with regarding Chrissy, he says, well, he knew that she wouldn't voy it anymore, so he wasn't concerned about it, and he knew that it would dry, etc., etc. So,
but of course, it's a very strange thing that he remembers what he wants to remember. The only thing is this, Pete, that defaults in a lot of these things. Now, this, no matter what you say, had to be a hurry-up thing, right? The most time he had to work, let's say, would be, if he did it, would be a matter of 2 hours.
Right. That's a lot of time.
Yeah, but Pete, is anybody that smart that they can cover up as well and have a pat story?
He made more mistakes than Jack the Ripper. If he did it, in fact. Number one, he puts himself in a fight in a torn jacket out in the hallway in the living room.
Yeah.
We don't buy it.
Well, I don't buy none of his blood being in the living room.
The jacket was bloodstained before it was torn.
Yeah.
We can prove this.
Yeah.
So No, hell no. He made a lot of mistakes. He threw the weapons. If he in fact did it, he threw the weapons too close to the house.
Yeah. Well, that I know.
He got rid of the surgeon's glove. He maintains he didn't go into the kitchen except right at the phone. Yet his blood is right over there at the cabinet where the surgical gloves were.
Underneath, yeah.
Right.
That has been identified?
Well, his blood is right in front of it.
Yeah, how about the one inside the...
Inside, we can only say it's human blood because it was contaminated with rust and soap products and debris in that.
Of course, that
it was fresh blood back
then. It was fresh.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was fresh blood. But we just can't say whose it was. The spot of blood on the Esquire. Yeah. The spot of blood on his glasses. The fact that if 4 people are in the house, then we got 2 in the back. And we don't have the debris that we should have had. We don't have the disarray in the area of the struggle. We don't have wounds. Here is the strongest man in the damn house, does not sustain a wound of any type with the exception of that one stab wound. Yeah. And Dr. Brussels says, hell, I clean my pipe deeper than that. Yeah. But in any event, he doesn't sustain any damn wound, and here is the biggest man in the house. Now, why the hell didn't he call for help?
Well,
I don't care who lives next door. If it's a raving maniac, it is somebody else. It is another human being. Right. It is comfort. It is aid. It is assistance. And he doesn't do it.
That's right.
Now, I would have. I don't know Jeff MacDonald that well. But I think that I'm just as sane as he is.
Well,
and I think that I'm just as good a man he is. And I would have ran. Now, goddamn it, I'd have ran if there was 4 of them.
Right. But
if I had to go right out the window.
I still say that Kimmy could not have screamed out if she'd been hit with that one massive blow.
She talked all right.
Yeah.
She talked during that fight in the master bedroom. Yeah. And she did say, Daddy, Daddy, Daddy. Yeah. And Colette did say,
Jeff,
that's right. And we could put him on a polygraph tomorrow, Fred, and I bet if he was asked, did you hear your wife say words to this effect?
Yeah.
He'd come out clean. Because I believe she did say it.
Yeah. Well, that's the way I twisted the words myself in my own mind, you know.
Take the ice pick wounds to the baby.
Yeah.
There's only 2 of them that are penetrated. The rest are ice pricks.
Yeah.
And Kimmy didn't even get it.
Yeah.
Kimmy got no stab wounds through her clothing.
You mean they were just in the neck?
That's right.
Yeah.
And the number of wounds on Chrissy indicates that her clothing was pulled up or disarranged.
Yeah.
Because some of there's too many wounds for the number of holes in the garment.
Yeah.
Plus,
of course, she was almost killed twice.
Stabbed in the back too.
She was turned over and then, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
See, those pajama bottoms would have.
Yeah.
If he in fact did it, Fred, those pajama bottoms would have had a hell of a lot of old blood on. See, because now this time, by the time he's in there, he doesn't have that pajama shirt on.
Yeah.
He just doesn't have it on. It is already torn. It was torn in that master bedroom.
Right.
Now, if there were intruders, then the intruders, we threw this out to him, Colonel Pruitt. All right, we'll buy the intruders. Isn't it possible that could have been torn in the master bedroom? Somehow in the master bedroom it got torn?
Yeah.
No. He says, no, I'd remember. I think I'd remember. No, didn't happen there.
Well, of course, I had first thought of the theory that he woke up in the living room, if there were intruders. And that, actually, this is the only way it could have happened. If his story is true, or to a given extent, that there was no fight in the living room. There could not have been a fight in the living room.
If his story is true, that somebody else murdered his family.
Yeah, then the fight happened in the master bedroom.
The fight happened in the master bedroom.
And he was knocked out.
And he was knocked out, or he faked it.
Right.
And he's just not as big a man as we think he is.
Right.
That's the only way. That's the only way. He's number one. He's lying. We know this. Siegel knows it, and Siegel knows we can prove he's lying.
Yeah. Hey, Pete.
But if they try him, they're not going to try him as a liar.
Pete, talk to people in Washington, or preferably, then after that to psychiatrists, and see what they think would happen if a story went into print on the pros and cons of this case, coming, let's say, from me, but not necessarily under my name, what it would do to Jeff from the point of view of, whether he's guilty or not guilty.
You mean as...
would it shock him and...
Would it guide him into action or have him flee the country or something?
Right. Knock that one around, see what they say.
Well...
I mean, they may throw it out, but
yeah, I can see what they're going to say right now.
Yeah.
They're going to... They'll probably say, okay, as an investigative tool.
Yeah.
But that if we leak it,
No, me, not you.
Well, yeah, but
I've got enough information to do that type of an article.
They wouldn't want to have any connection with it. Because
No, of course not. Of course not.
Prejudicing any litigation in the case.
Oh, yeah.
If we were aware of it.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Because all they got to do is put us on the stand and say, were you aware that prior to the publication that Mr. Kassab
was going to do
was
this?
kicking it around?
Yeah.
Hell, I'd have to say yes. We did discussion on one occasion. He said, well, did you caution him about such and such and such and such?
Right,
and I said, well, we discussed it, but we figured, what the hell? Boom! Even if he did it, there goes the case.
It's been in my mind a long time, wondering what that would do.
We had thought about other things along those lines. To see what action would take, but to be quite frank, we wanted to talk to him one more time. I don't know if he's going to talk to us again or not. And we want to get a couple answers to certain questions we had. I don't know if he'll talk to us. So we didn't want to cause any more undue feelings with Mr. Siegel than we already have with him. He doesn't believe we checked any hippies, and we can't convince him any other way that we've taken fingerprints all over the place, send them in, and other lab tests. And maybe he doesn't want to believe, but have you heard from Jeff?
Not a word. Not a solitary word since he left here in June, except for that one change of address card.
Do you have any idea why he's not contacting?
Why he's not what?
Contacting.
No. And then a stranger thing yet. And of course, if he said this to prove it, I know exactly what he'd say. We haven't heard a word from his mother either. Now, I know what Jack would say if I tell him that. He'd just say, well, hell, she knows something she's not telling. She won't go near you anymore.
That's right. Is she out there with him?
No, I think she just went out there one time and then came back and stayed out there a week or something like that. I don't know. I really, I just heard this story when I told it to you that she'd gone out there, but I know damn well she didn't go out there to see. Hey, wait a minute. We did ask somebody, and somebody said she was back at school, as a nurse or whatever it is she does. Okay, Pete, you pass along. You know how I feel, because I think I've been truthful with you all along.
You have, and I've been truthful with you, and I don't intend to change anything.
And I only have one way of thinking, and if you can just convince them of the way that I think, as opposed to the way I, let's say, acted a little over a year ago, but I had a purpose in mind, and I accomplished what I did.
Right.
So, they can't fault me for that, and I don't care what anybody says. This damn thing had gone down the drain if I hadn't done something about it.
Colonel Pruitt has told them this, and he's got a closer ear to the commander than they do anyway. So our status hasn't changed. I'm just, going to play it by ear between you and I, and the heck with them. They don't have to know everything. As far as I'm concerned, and just like Colonel Pruitt said, we are now personal friends, regardless if this investigation stops today.
Right.
And he says, Colonel Pruitt told me, he said, there ain't a slim bitch in the world that tells me I can't go talk to Fred Kassab anytime I want. So, I don't think it's changed. I just think that they were concerned about the April 6th statement.
All they had to do, I didn't scream when you said it, that when you told me and you thought that I couldn't have it. Yeah. I wrote them a letter just to back up what I had asked for, but I have no intention of creating a stink about that thing, because that thing doesn't really mean anything, except that I just wanted to read it over to get in my mind what he said then as compared to what he said on the stand. You know what I mean, and what he told me. Yeah. I just want to get it in my mind, and the only reason that I read you off that list is I still go on the theory that I don't care, give a damn who you are. Everybody doesn't think of everything.
That's right. That's right.
Some moron can come along sometime and just say something to you, solve the case,
And that's why sometimes stuff is given to the press, because somebody's going to read it and say, hey, I saw somebody in that area.
That's right.
They were telling me the other day about a murder case they had out there where a GI murdered somebody in town, an old lady here. And they started house by house, put it in the papers, and some guy in the neighborhood, maybe 2 blocks away, remembered walking down the street that night and happened to glance at the decal. And he remembered all 3 numbers on the Fort Bragg enlisted man's decal. Not in the right order, but he remembered the 3 numbers. And through that, they got every car with those sequence of numbers,
Yeah.
And they ran down their man.
Talk
about luck, huh?
Yeah. Well, it's like I remember the time in London where we picked up a guy that was a spy. He had just come ashore, and he'd just gotten to London, and he spoke perfect English. He gets on this goddamn bus, and he asks the girl for change to pay her, and he clicked his heels. Well, now this stupid girl, who wasn't much above a moron, had seen in the movies where the Germans clicked their heels. So she called the cops, and we came down, and we picked the guy up for questioning, and we take the suitcase that he's got a transmitter in the goddamn suitcase. Now, you know, I mean, that's as far-fetched as you can get. So, you never know, you know.
Right.
So, Pete, I won't keep you any longer. Thanks very much for calling me
right.
back. Huh?
And let's see, on these, the wounds, well, most of this discussion type stuff, yeah, I don't believe Kenny could cry out either.
Because that was a massive blow, you know.
Yeah, we're still working on some of the, some lab tests. So we're running some of the lab tests back for blood types on certain body fluids that were picked up at the crime scene.
Right.
And we got this Marine to interview over in Long Beach.
Oh, the guy that had lunch or whatever it was over there?
Well, he was in one of the Siler City Six. This fellow said these people he thought might have been involved because they talked about it at one time and they got upset when they heard any discussion of it. But we ran down all 5, and we've got the 6th one as the next Marine. We're running him down now. We got a couple of stewardesses we're still trying to find too. We've got them saying that they were dating with him.
Someday, Pete, I'll tell you that a famous lie that Jeff told me. The one that really is a lie to end all lies.
What was it?
It
doesn't make any difference.
I'm not going to tell you. It doesn't really make any difference to the case, really. But he tried to make he was a big shot. And if you put a few things together that I've asked you here and there and asked you to look into, maybe you'll come up with the answer.
Okay. You're like Colonel Pruitt with that cat. He keeps asking me where the hell the cat is, you know, and he won't tell me why he wants to know. So, well, you give Mildred our love, and our prayers are with her, and I've told my wife about it. She said she'll say a mass for her.
Thanks very much.
And I know she'll pull through.
Oh,
keep your chin up, huh? And I'll be in touch with you.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.